So jumping in, the Power Platform, where does that sit? So we've spoken about this previously. We all know about SharePoint and OneDrive for document management. And over the last year, what we've come to get used to is Teams, and that's a fantastic collaboration tool. Power Platform sits there to further enhance kind of business processes, automation, all that kind of stuff to help streamline business processes. And that's currently sitting at a family of 4. So Power BI, we've done a session in this previously, and if you haven't seen it, then feel free to go to our YouTube channel and watch that one. But that's very much to do with data visualization and analytics. So taking your data sets that you've got in the cloud and starting to visualize them in a way that you can easily manage it. Power Apps, what we're doing today, all about data collection. I'll go into more detail that in a wee minute. Power Automate is what holds it all together and what makes it clever. You can start to build your flows around that. If you've got approval flows, if you've got dependencies on certain things within your application, it's very much Power Automate is the brain of that process. And then you've got Power Virtual Agent. It's in its infancy, but it's another example of a low-code application that's designed to be a chatbot and to help you engage in conversation between clients and employees. So, for instance, if we didn't want to go into a holiday system, we could ask the bot to book a holiday for us and it could do it. Both Power Automate and both Virtual Agent will have their own sessions coming up where we can go in a wee bit more depth. But for now, we'll crack on with Power Apps. Okay. So, as we're all aware, through our day-to-day processes, we often come across an area of that work that is manual. It requires paper-based processes, it's labour-intensive, and potentially is actually all kept in emails and you're having to store it in different areas. It's a bit time-consuming. Power Apps is there to help streamline that process. And ultimately, what it allows you to do is enhance what you can create in Microsoft 365. So if you've got a form, for instance, that you normally would manually fill in and then scan in and then email it out to people, what you can start to do is you can start to create an application around it, and you can have it on your mobile, you can have it on your tablet, and you can fill out that form digitally, and as you hit submit, that automatically, through Power Automate that I mentioned earlier, sends it into SharePoint and stores the data there. You can also attach files through it, and it's fantastic for a whole host of things, from remote workers who are out in the road. Normally, if you've got paper processes there, they need to come back to the office to get them into the system, or send a snap and email it off to someone who then has to go put it into the system. They can control it far more from their mobile devices. If you're in the office, maybe you've got approval system where it's often email heavy or chat based, you can bring that into the one kind of portal, Power App portal, where you're managing all that and seeing progress of different things all in the one central location. Integration into the wider Microsoft 365 is there. Obviously, we've all grown to love Teams over the last 12 months. And what we can start to do is we can embed those Power Apps into tabs, into chats, or just solely directly into Teams in the sidebar, which is shown actually in this image here. And then you can actually, it's just an extension of that collaboration that you're already doing in Teams. And obviously the data set that you're pulling from there, it links great into things like SharePoint, where you're already potentially keeping your data there. You're actually just attaching that Power App up to data sets or document libraries and just pointing at where you need that data to go. So actually, once it's set up, there's very little kind of manual interference that you have to do with your data. I'll speak a wee bit, and I know John will, about low code. So low code exists through the Power Platform, and obviously for this we're talking about Power Apps here. The reason it exists is the technical ability to get started with Power Apps isn't vast, it isn't intense, such as Pro developers. In the past, when we wanted to create a process, so for instance, we'll use a holiday system as an example, we had two options. We could go out and buy a third-party application, which we would have to adjust our internal process to, or we would have to natively develop it, which comes with a large cost. And often what that took months to develop, and actually extended that time before you'd even see an ROI, a return on investment from it. So often people didn't do it. Now with Power Apps and the creation of the citizen developer, it's what Microsoft likes to call the kind of low-code solutions. It allows citizen developers to get their teeth into it. We can create specific business tasks and complex business apps within days. So we're dropping that from months right down to days, where we can actually create a working solution. And this ultimately means that we're creating these automated processes to fit in with your business rather than the other way around, and you're having to adapt with them. And then that falls into what we've previously spoken about. What we do here and what Microsoft are pushing for over the last kind of 12 months as we've got more involved with the cloud, we talk more about empowerment, and that comes from both sides. That comes from us as an IT provider. We need to get this technology in front of everyone here, and also we want to empower yourselves to actually think, how could we use this technology within our business, and what that ultimately means is that can drive forward that concept of digital transformation within your business. At the end of the day, no one knows your business more than the people and the team that are working in it on a day-to-day basis. And by knowing about this technology, it allows you to start small, come up with some scenarios where there are manual processes being used, and then you can start using Power Apps to rectify them and to start seeing the efficiency come and the streamlining of those things in that environment. And although we would carry out, a lot of the time we would carry out the development work, for many businesses, there's no reason why you can't start getting involved in Power Apps and start getting those ideas down on paper, playing about with Power Apps yourself. There is a lot of templates. If you go straight to Power Apps at Microsoft, you'll start to see those templates that are available. You can download them, play about with them on your tenancy. And of course, once you've got those Power Apps developed, it's all within the Microsoft security system, so you can set the permissions, you know the usage, who's actually using the apps. They sit behind multi-factor authentication, and that's something we don't often see, or we don't see at all when it comes to third-party applications, where you're trying to fit all of those into all the systems. You don't necessarily know where all your data is, where obviously this allows you to create an app and keep it in the one ecosystem. So an example of that, I've actually pulled a Microsoft example for this one. And the reason I did that is I wanted to show you an example of a citizen developer in a very well-known organisation, Heathrow Airport, that's got behind the technology across the last couple of years, and they're very much seeing the benefit of it now. Snippet, who has created this case study, he initially worked in airport security, and I believe what he had available to him was, he had a book beside him that had all the kind of prohibited items that people weren't allowed to bring in from different countries. And what he realized is he could leverage the power of Power Apps to create a process that was far more efficient, could be kept up to date, so on. And ultimately, we're now at the point where everyone in Heathrow is empowered, all employees can innovate, and we're in the position where they are now saving 75,000 bits of paper, and at the end of the day have saved hundreds of £1,000s by solely relying on this low-code product. So before John takes over, I just want to say there is if you are looking it up online, there is two types of Power Apps. So you've got model driven and Canvas apps. Model driven is very much data first. It's a data first model. It leverages data that's held in Dataverse, another aspect of Microsoft. And what that does is that then generates the forms, the views, the UI all around that data set. Often comes because the databases you're using, it often comes with an increase in license. So what we actually aim for and what John will be demoing is a Canvas app. Canvas apps are great. You can start from, as I said, a template earlier, or you can start from a blank canvas. And what you can do there is you can work on the user experience first of all. So if you've got a process that you know exactly how you want to flow, you can work with that user experience to get that right. And you can control the UI to a certain extent, but you can control that UI so it fits in with brand. And ultimately then you can attach all your data sets. So you can pull in the data driven from SharePoint, all those kind of areas where you've got that control. So, and often it comes with the license that you've got. And obviously we would check that before we try anything.